Hi, Supriya.
Hi, Kalpana. Good evening.
Good evening. I got a notification that someone has joined.
Yes,
So the
yes,
reason.
but right, but I can't see.
Hi, Isha.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Isha, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi, Unnati. Hi, Meghna.
Hi, Kalpana. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Swaroop. So let us know, Swaroop, when do we start?
I think we can begin. We are recording the session, so we should be good to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Swati?
Let's check if we have all the panelists on the call.
If you're good to go, let's start.
Swati, I can't see Jayati. Jayati has joined.
Let me quickly check.
Meanwhile, we can give another 2 or 3 minutes for the participants.
Swaroop, I'll check with Jayati. Meanwhile, if we can start, I think we should.
Absolutely. Thank you, Swati.
I'll share
Okay.
my screen.
Yes, thank you. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Career Compass. Discover your potential. International Women's Day is celebrated every year to commemorate the achievements of women in all walks of life. Taking International Women's Day as an occasion, we thought to invite all the prospective gems, as we like to call all of us, all the new graduates, that's graduate engineers with multi-dimensional skills, for a glimpse inside Persistent, directly from people who are currently working in the organization in various roles. In keeping with the theme of International Women's Day, we have curated an esteemed panel of speakers today, persistent women leaders who are from the delivery, sales, and HR side of the business. They are in different stages of their life journey, and I'm super happy that they have agreed to share some parts of their life experiences with us today. Let me introduce you to the speakers. We have Meghana Behere, who has over 22 years of experience in delivery, operations, business development, strategic account growth, and management. She has spent 2 decades at Persistent Systems, holding strategic planning and delivery responsibility in a variety of roles and portfolios. Next, we have Jayati Chatterjee, who is heading the India business for Persistent, a seasoned sales professional with an experience of more than 2 decades now. She has helped to create the national financial backbone in India and contributed to creating the tech landscape in Indian banks. She has previously worked with products and service companies like HCL, 3i Infotech, Intellect, and FSS. Unnati Khanorkar joined Persistent as a software engineer or a GEMS, such as all the audience that we have here, in 2011 and is now working as a project lead. She has been recognized as a brand ambassador for the company and has represented Persistent for multiple clients and at international conferences. We also have with us Kalpana Kudlingar, with 17 plus years of experience in the HR domain across various roles, including HRBP, HR analytics, merger and acquisition, campus recruitment, HR operations, and the list goes on. She is a certified M&A professional and she heads the campus recruitment portfolio. I wish a very warm welcome to all the panelists who have shown that they have a strong drive to excel and a commitment to go above and beyond to make a positive impact. My name is Swaroop Gokhale, and I will be moderating the session today. I lead the diversity and inclusion initiatives at Persistent, And I have a career trajectory that includes HR here in India and in the US, education, and now diversity and inclusion. I have worked with companies like Citigroup and Mindtree Consulting, and the most recent one has been Media Agility, a premier Google partner that was recently acquired by Persistent. So with the introductions done, let us now begin our conversation with a quick hygiene check first. So folks, please remember to keep your audio on mute when we are not speaking. As the conversation proceeds, please make full use of the chat box and the emojis to show us that you resonate with the speakers. If we were meeting in person, we would be able to see your expressions. But since this is virtual, let us make it as close to in person as possible. Yeah. So having said that, let me just do a quick check. Okay, all the speakers are here. We are here. We shall begin. So audience, we launched a survey, collected questions from you. I must say they were really, really good questions and we were very impressed. So what we have tried to do is that we have tried our best to cover most of them in this discussion. If you feel that they are still unanswered, please post them in the Q&A section and we will take them towards the end. I'm hoping time permits because I'm sure this is going to be a very, very interesting discussion. We have created a few segments based on the queries that we received. So we will begin most of our segments with a quick poll or a question to keep this conversation interactive so that you can, show us what you think. So the panelists also know what you think and we can take the conversation from there. So team, shall we take a poll now? Thank you. Thumbs ups. Yes. Okay. Here is the first question. On your screen, you will now see Priyanka Chopra. The poll question is, what attributes of Priyanka Chopra's personality do you admire the most? And the options are given. We will give you 10 seconds to answer. This is not an exam, so 10 seconds I'm sure will be enough. Okay, shall we close the poll? Okay. Results have come up. Hardworking is the one that beats everything else. Wow. Okay. So hardworking, then focus, then experimental, dedication. Not bad. Very good. Okay. So if you're thinking about hardworking, then you're also thinking about reinventing herself the way she has been doing, exploring new avenues, thinking about career progression, so on and so forth. So all of that brings one person to mind from the panelists. I think I'm going to pick on Jayati first. Jayati, how has your journey been so far and what are essential attributes that you feel are important that can help somebody grow in their career?
Hi, Swaroop, and good afternoon, everyone. My panel member friends and everybody who's joined us today. Thank you so much. I was very surprised that determination did not figure there. To see an absolute zero on determination. I would think determination is one of the biggest pieces, because what our families want us to do, what the society wants us to do, what our job role wants us to do. That aside, I think the biggest question is, what do I want to do? And the follow-up to that is, the answer to that usually is that if I want to do this, how determined am I to do this? And that is where probably the success and everything else changes according to that. More and more, of course, determination comes with discipline and the whole persistence angle to it. Definitely, there will be good days, there will be bad days. But see, the point is, we can't stick to someone else's agenda for us, right? It is always easy to stick to your agenda that you have created for your own self. I mean, look at Priyanka Chopra, right? What an icon. I mean, she was doing brilliantly in one market. She uprooted herself, went to a completely different environment where even big guys like Amitabh Bachchan and all have got piecemeal roles in in Hollywood, so-called Hollywood movies. But she's become mainstream, so much so that she's designed her whole life around it, right? So this determination that I want this, and how do I do the whole, I mean, call it design thinking application or whatever. The framework could be anything, but how I have designed my life, my uh, work-life balance, my me time, my work time, everything, how I have designed around it to make me succeed in what I want. I think that is one of the key things. So I'm feeling a little sad that determination didn't figure in. But of course, yeah, I think that is one of the key things.
Thank you, Jayati. So basically, where
Yes,
there is a will, there is a way.
absolutely, Swaroop.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So now I'm curious to see what Meghana would like to say, because I think she will agree with determined, I'm sure, but I think she has another answer in mind based on her career trajectory. So Meghana, over to you.
Yeah, I think to start on from where Jyoti left off, right? Determination, of course, is the foundational value system that is required to be where you need to be, right? But I do want to pick on one word that we have in our gems, which is multidimensional, right? I think it is extremely critical, right, for anyone in the industry today to be able to have a lot of skills, right? Not being tied down to one technology. And when I look at how I have progressed and what I have learned here at Persistent over the last 2+ decades that I've been here, right? I have worked in databases. I have worked in ETL, C and C++. Most of the gems today may not even know what that looks like, right? But C, C++, VB, I did testing, right? I've managed .NET projects, Flex. So there's a plethora of different technologies that I've worked on, right? At the same time, I did not also lock myself in saying I'm just going to work on one domain, right? So some people say I'm just going to do telecom or I'm just going to do BFSI, right? I did not lock myself. I've spent enough amount of time in telecom and an equally equivalent amount of time in the BFSI side as well, right? So I've done a combination of tech, I've done a combination of domains, and then I took the next risk, right? I think the other thing that I do want to open everyone to is to say, take risks, right? Because when you're taking risks, you have to learn. When you're learning, you become multidimensional, right? So at a point in time when I was about 13, 14 years in the industry, I decided to switch from a delivery role into an operational role, right? And I was running the strategy and the planning of the services business here at Persistent, right? And I did that for about 4 or 5 years and then again moved back. So what this has helped me is really I have moved cross diagonal, right? And when you're moving cross diagonal, it's actually a faster path upwards, right? So that's why I believe being multidimensional, taking risks, and continuing to learn are three very critical elements of reinventing oneself. Back to you, Saru.
Thank you so much, Meghna. So what I also heard was basically being a generalist or being flexible to new opportunities when you say not locking yourself in, and also stepping outside your comfort zone time and time again. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I think we can go on to the next poll. I like these polls. This is Mary Com, and here's the question for all of us. What fears do you feel can impact your career goal? Five seconds remaining. Okay. Take it away, team. Let's see what the answers are. Okay, so these are the answers that we've got based on how bold they are. That shows, how many people have answered that same, given that same answer. So the fear of underperformance is probably the one that is standing out the most, along with so many others, like, fear of public speaking, change, okay, um, fear of failure, poor self-confidence, time management a little bit. Okay. Uh, this is more to the audience, maybe it might be a little too early for you to, go that far and visualize, but that life does take a toll when you want to manage everything at the same time and do the best you can for, on each front. So I think I want to call back Meghana again. Based on what you've seen as the results, what would be your suggestion for them?
So I
Let's,
think,
yeah.
sure. When I think about fear of underperformance, right, self-doubt, it all points to somewhere being afraid of failing, right? So I would spend a little bit of time talking about that, right? And I'll tell this with a story of what really happened to me. Okay. So I had been a hardcore techie for 13 years of my life. And then I decided that I'm going to take a role which is operations, which is all about numbers. It was a good thing that I was good in math in school, right? But the kind of numbers and operational things that you do in a corporate world is fairly different, right? So here I'm sitting in a conference room with the chief operating officer of persistent systems, okay? And there's like a huge big spreadsheet on the screen out there. And I'm like looking at that, trying to figure out what each of this column means, what each of this data means. Is it 3 lakhs or is it 30 lakhs, right? By then, the CEO had looked at the data, linked 5 different data sets and asked 3 questions to the group in the room. Okay. And I'm like, oh, what's going on, right? And then, obviously some people answered to the questions. The CEO was not very comfortable with what was seen. So he said, hey, you know what? Change this. And I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he explained what he needed for the next 5 minutes. I got maybe 10% of it. Okay. And then he went around the room asking everyone, saying, hey, have you understood this? Mr. X, have you understood? And then he came and asked me, saying, Meghna, do you understand it? Right? Now, at that moment, I said, no, I don't. Right? Because I couldn't. And if he gave me a task based on that, and if I didn't understand, I was not going to be able to do it. Right? And but I said there are 5 other people in the room who have understood. I will take help from them and I'll figure it out. Right? So I think it is important, A, to be transparent, right? B, to be open to take help. And I think these 2 things have been the cornerstone of me being able to learn time and again. Because, and Jayati is my buddy in this, right? When I'm leading the BFSI delivery, I told Jayati, I take care of the tech. You're the domain person. You're going to help me learn. So even today, right? Learning is a core element that I focus on as I go along, right? So I think if you're vulnerable enough to ask for help, to say I don't know but I'm willing to learn, things will work out for you and these failures will be conquered. Back to you, Swaroop.
Thank you, Meghana. So as I was listening to your response, I could completely relate to it, by the way. My first instinct was just to say, yes, of course I understand. And then in the back, behind the scenes, of course, go to those 4 people and get the help. But what you did is basically you did not allow those self-limiting thoughts to kind of, stop your
Absolutely.
growth. And that transparency actually, I can say that it takes a lot of courage, and I'm just totally impressed that you did it. I will try that as well.
Thank you.
Swaroop, I see this mountain in front on the deck, right, in the screen
Yeah.
that is in front of us. And I'm reminded of the story in Ramayana when Hanuman feels that how can I cross the ocean and how can I go to Lanka, right? I don't know if you guys know this story. So Hanuman has to go across the ocean, go to Sita, and he's like, I'm just a monkey. What do I do? So full of self-doubt, full of completely out of the comfort zone and absolutely, literally, and figuratively at sea, right? So one of the, I think Jambavan was the one who says that, you are so and so, you carry the power of XYZ gods and whatever it is, right? And there he increases the size. So it's very natural for us to feel like a pebble in front of this mountain, but it is up to us to take that one single step each with all honesty, with all transparency to ourselves, to our stakeholders, whoever they may be, and ask for help. And somewhere I feel, uh, unfortunately, women are a little, they sort of take a step back in that. If I don't know, what will people think of me? People, they are exactly that. People, they are like us only. They are no way different, bigger, smaller, greater, smarter, nothing. We are all the same, built out of the same clay, right? So I think it is all about us if we take that leap of faith and know that we are here to learn. So to what Meghna says, let us climb the mountain step by step and help each other to climb, more importantly.
Absolutely. Yes, completely agree. I want to see what the next slide is because I think it is completely different from Marycom. Okay, then. Kiran Bedi. So, for the audience, here's the poll question. What do you admire Kiran Bedi for? 5 seconds remaining. You will see that I'm reducing the time for the poll because I can see how much time it is taking for me to enter the answer. Okay, can we have the answer, please? The results of the poll.
Hi everyone and hi Swaroop. So the result of the polls is there right there in the chat. And what I can see here is that close more than 50% folks have said that challenging the stereotypes is what they feel is what they admire about Kiran Bedi.
That is just perfect. Thank you so much, Supriya, because I started looking at the chat window the minute you shared the next screen. So thank you for that. Challenging the stereotypes. Now, folks, amongst us, we have somebody who has challenged the stereotype that goes something on the lines of sales is not for girls, or women are too emotional to survive the field of sales. So how, Jayati, as the VP of sales at Persistent, would you respond to that?
See, honestly, I feel stereotypes is what we also pander to sometimes, right? It's the end of the world. A business environment or whatever, an environment doesn't stop rolling or doesn't really decide if who's driving the car, who's driving the vehicle, whether a man is or a woman is. They need a job to get done. Work needs a job to get done. The world needs the job to get done. Anybody who gets the job done is at the seat. So it is like that. And probably subscribing to the stereotype is also ensuring that it lives longer, right? And it's also a part of our mindset. There is a job that needs to be done, man, woman. Honestly, I have never looked at people like that. That said, not that I have not advantaged because of it. For me, I have in fact been at the better side, because no client really throws a woman out of their office. Clients do sometimes throw guys out of their office, saying that get out, I don't want to talk to you. No one's going to do that to a woman. I mean, in India or anywhere globally, right? So yeah, so my colleagues and whom we have been selling along with, they always say ki you will reach the client whether we are able to or not. So in fact, I have benefited because of it, to be very honest. So it is all what we make it in our minds of. A job needs to be done, you get it done to the best of it. Doesn't matter if it takes 12 in the night or 7 in the morning. I'm not saying that there are not circumstances where we need support and we need help. We do, but so does even a man does, right? And men in that way gel better, bond better, and support each other better. For us, we have to find that support network. Otherwise, a job is a job at the end of it. Um, uh, but since we are talking, I must say I have also received a whole lot of affection from my clients, in the sense that uh, when I was young, and this gentleman in Reserve Bank of India, I was brand new, didn't have any idea of what banking is, just right out of college, and he used to make me sit and ensure that I had my chas and nariyal pani and everything. Because somewhere his son was also selling to in some other part of the world with some for somebody else, right? So he's like, I always feel that my child is here. So there have been instances of such affection, and people who really see that you're trying to do your job well, and if there's any support that they want to give, they have given. So really, the stereotype is what we subscribe to or we pander to. Uh, it's about getting the job done. Even Kiran Bedi, she just took the decisions and got the job done. Didn't matter whether she was a girl or a boy, a man or a woman. People then said, ki, oh, in spite of being a woman, she is doing this, which is great. I mean, that's up to them. That's not what she thought. That if she has to say, for example, do a raid on what you call unlawful elements, it's not because she's a woman. She's doing it because that's a job. Anybody in her position should be doing it, right? So do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. So, when we are talking about equality in thought, then this comes as part of that, where we do away with the stereotypes and just take the jobs for what they are and perform them to the best of our abilities, regardless of gender. Jayati, if you had to give advice to our gems interested in a career in sales or client-facing roles, what would that advice be?
Do it. The whole advice is do it. See, I'll tell you. And hopefully we'll be adding to some of the adding some more salespeople who are women in our team. Fingers crossed. See, but the point is the dimension that women bring into this role is absolutely different. I mean, what does sales really involve? Making somebody hear what you say. Aren't we doing it left, right, and center 24/7, any which ways? We are having stakeholders around us hear what we have to say. Point number one. Point number two, we negotiate well. I mean, we are naturally gifted better negotiators than guys. Works very, very well in our favor, right? Third, um, we are naturally skilled to take people along with us in a journey. The first rule of sales is it doesn't happen single-handedly. It takes a village to make a sale, right? Who are these village? It is people internal and external to your organization. I think women are naturally gifted to have that, create that village and lead that village, or work collaboratively within that village to meet the objective. So I think there are a bunch of natural traits or leverages that we have. I think we should just come out of these biases that we have been taught and just do the job. We are much, much better off doing it than men. Oh, fourth more important thing. Women tend to leave their ego aside. Tend to, more often than not. Right? More often than not. We can very easily, acha tune bola maan liya. We are like that, right? Typically.
Hmm.
Um, uh, so that also helps the relationship building, right? When you're going to a new client and starting to build a relationship, you can't start off being saying, I'm the right, I'm my ego, I know. You can't start from there. You have to start from a position where you keep your ego aside and listen, right? That listening is a very, very important part of the sales process. Women typically listen well because they are able to keep their ego aside for that conversation and understand what the other side wants and deal with it. I think we are naturally gifted. I wonder why there aren't more of us. Seriously.
I think when they hear, you see all those claps and emojis coming up. I think we will have more salespeople. Yeah.
Lovely. Look forward to.
Okay. So, Kalpana, uh, just a side question here. Um, so I asked Jayati if people were going to, if she had to recruit people, the gems into client-facing roles, what would be the advice? Now you have been able to create a niche for yourself in the past 15 years. What advice would you like to give our gems, um, so that they are, in the list of most dependable people, or most trusted employees, or so on and so forth?
Sure. So, hi everyone, and a warm welcome to this session. And so, Swaroop, thank you for this question. And so, rather than giving any advice, I would probably like to share what has worked for me in my journey, because everyone is going to lead a very unique journey, since everyone comes up with the unique capabilities and competencies. So, in my case, I have never looked at the entire work as 9 to 6 job. So while working in Persistent, I've always felt that this is my company. I always believe that I'm an entrepreneur here and I'm in charge of my career. I'm in charge of the work that I do. I'm in charge of the role that I do. So I've always taken a full ownership and the responsibility of whatever I do. So I believe this mindset has helped me to do more and to contribute more, which in turn has given me the growth in my career. That is the first point. Second point, it's very important to remain relevant for all of us, considering the dynamics in the business and in the technology scape. So learning and unlearning, these are the impediments, right? I mean, this is something which is necessary for the growth. So you will have to take efforts to do it, and it will not happen automatically. Okay, so anyone and everyone will have to take time out of it. So often I've heard, and I give this excuse to myself as well, that I don't have time, I'm flooded, I'm swamped with the work. But that's not true, right? I mean, if I look at my 15 years journey, I've done a lot of certification. These are very credible certification that I've done. And I still remember those COVID times, 2 or 3 years time, I used to work 16 hours a day. And I remember my maximum formal learnings happened during that period. Okay, every Saturday, Sunday morning, 8 to 11. I know, I mean, after working 16 hours on weekdays, I used to spend those 3 hours additional hours on the weekends. And I had done those certification, which actually helped me to take up additional work, additional responsibilities, and additional opportunities, which benefited in turn. So and if I have to give the example of the gems that we have on the call, okay, all of you, I closely track your progress. I mean, you are right now going through this pre-joining training program. Your foundation course has completed, your advanced track course has just begun. Okay, some of you have academic priorities, some of you have exams, some of you have classes, some of you don't have classes at all, you have got this exemption. And the surprising factor is that those who do not have, those who have the academic priorities, their course completion percentage is much better than anyone else, right? So when we say that I don't have time, it's myth. Okay, so if you want to remain relevant and employable, it's very important that you need to invest time in your development. And lastly, okay, don't knock off the opportunities knocking at your door, and even those which do not knock at your door. So step out of your comfort zone. So if you have that hunger to do more, that will help you to have better exposure and experience, and which will help you to build your career, is what probably is my submission, Swaroop.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. That was a lot of information in a very short period of time. But yeah, I can see where that driven part comes now very, very clearly. Folks, in case you didn't understand, there, the one of the messages was that she's tracking your progress very closely. So just keep in mind. Team, can we have the next slide, please? Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know her, this lady is Falguni Nair. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, maybe Naika will. So, question for all of you. for the poll is, has the poll come up? Let me check.
Now, there isn't any poll, Swaroop, this time.
Aha. Okay. So you know what? I'll ask this in the chat box. Audience, if you are comfortable, please go ahead and type. We will start chatting once the question is out anyway. So my question is, do you think it is difficult being a leader? Do you think it is difficult to prioritize when handling multiple responsibilities? This is the question for all of you, the gems. And I would relate that to college opportunities, being a class representative or a college representative and so on and so forth. In the corporate world, I am going to direct this question to Meghana. So Meghana, what part of being a leader is the most difficult? How do you prioritize when you're handling multiple responsibilities?
Sure. So Swaroop, do we wait for some responses from the group today?
I think let's give them like a minute. If you are typing, just raise your hand so that we know we have to wait. Otherwise, we can go on chatting. We are having a good time right now. I can say if I am for sure. Okay, no hands raised. I think Meghana, you can begin with your answer.
Okay. So I'm still going to ask a question where people will have to raise their hands. Okay. So guys and gals, right? How many of you believe you have to be a superwoman or a superman if you have to be a good leader? Show of hands. Go ahead, keep your hands raised. Keep it raised if you believe that. Just keep it on. We're just trying to see how many are responding. Quite a few of you, right? I want to burst a myth. There is nothing like a superwoman or a superman, right? We're all human and we all need support, right? All of us need to build our own support systems. Parents, in-laws, maids, drivers, the next door medical wala, right? All of it together. And if we are not taking care of that, I'm sorry, something is flickering on my screen, so I've turned off my video for a minute there. But if you're not creating a support system around us, then we will feel that we need to be a superwoman, right? But I think what we really need to be as a leader is to have empathy for our teams, for our clients, and for everyone around us, right? I mean, whether it is your maid or your driver or your friends. Is the network better?
Yes.
Okay, great, right? So, I happened to be watching a video today and it said, empathy is what will get you there to be a leader, right? Competency will be the next thing, right? So as all of you focus on being a leader from today, right? I mean, you don't have to be in the industry for 20 years to be a leader, right? To me, being a leader comes from day one, right? Whether you're taking charge to help a teammate solve a problem, right? You'd probably be doing your college projects and you'll be in a team, right? And you may be a back-end developer and your front-end developer may be having a challenge. Now, do you take the lead to go and help the person, right? So being a leader to me starts from day one of wherever you are in your life, right? And it goes on from there every day of your life. Back to you, Swaroop.
Thank you so much, Meghna. I think empathy for our teams really resonated with me there. So, and I especially like the fact that, we are a leader. I mean, if we don't have to have that, we don't have to be working for 20 years to be a leader. Absolutely. Um, there is this concept called emergent leadership. And I think that is something that we have started looking for, especially in GEMS, where they show that initiative to be a leader in whichever situation they are. And, learn from that. Talking about learning, I think that learning is a journey and not a destination, and does not require us to take a break in the career. Um, and this is one of my favorite women that I look up to. Um, when we talk about learning or grooming, or there are so many, there are so many women that come to mind who have successfully managed career and the home front. Let us now turn towards Unnati and talk to her a little bit about this concept of earn while you learn, or vice versa, because she is one of those women who has been there and done that. Unnati,
Thanks, Swaroop.
hi.
Yeah,
Give me just a
thanks.
second, because I think
Sure.
one of the polls has come up.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the opportunities you may get at Persistent to enhance your learning? Yes or no? This is for the audience. Okay. And I will go back to the chat just to see. 72% have said no. So, Unnati, over to you, because they really need to know what opportunities we have at Persistent.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Thanks, Varu. Okay, so I'll start with this. So when I joined Persistent, I was also a fresher. In 2011, I joined, and it's like that that's something dream come true from me, because coming from a very small town and getting into a multinational company in a big city, it's kind of a very much kind of a dreamy situation for me. I always wanted to continue with the studies. I always wanted to get my post graduation done. But once I get the job, I thought that no, I should go with the job, because that will make me financially independent and may boost up my confidence for that. Once I started working and started earning, it was really good. But there was something into me that no, I want to do my post graduation and I want to have that degree and kind of I want to continue with the learning process. Then I came to know with the opportunity in the Persistent that this company has tie up with very higher universities like BITS, Milani, and other universities. So they conduct some internal examinations for that, and they choose some top students from there that, and then they provide that opportunity to go ahead with the higher educations. So I got to know, I appeared for the examination, I cleared it, and I selected for it. So there were only 50 people who has got selected through all over Persistent. Multiple locations through all over India. And then there was a 2 years course for that. Though it was work integrated, I spent all my Saturdays and Sundays for 2 years to learn, to earn, and to get that degree completed. And anyhow, you're going to get that support from your project, everything that you need. You get those guidance and all the support that you want to complete your projects while working in your post graduation journey also. So that is all there. And anyhow, once you get the proper percentages, higher CGPAs, everything, Persistent is going to give you that money refunded. It will sponsor your learning process. So that is again a plus point. So anyone from you, if you have that dream that no, I want to learn, but I don't want to stop my earnings, right? Because that is like you are earning and you are paying for your post graduation degree, or you are the one who is paying for your learning. So that is kind of get you more confidence to move towards it. So that was my thought process behind it, and it was a very good journey for me. I got to know multiple people, and again, this process will get you make more contacts. You will get to know other people from other departments and other things. So that was a very good experience for me.
Thank you so much, Unnati. That is very inspiring. And it takes a lot of effort, I'm sure, to study and work at the same time.
Actually,
Um, I want to, in the interest of time, I want to move on to the next part. I will come. There is a question that I want to ask you, Unnati, but I'm going to take that up in the latter segment.
Sure.
So, team, if we can have the next slide, please. Yay! There is a YouTube video. And okay, fine, never mind. There are some really good videos about, where Mrs. Nirmala Sitaraman has spoken in the House. And I hope you go and see those videos. Okay. So here's the question. This question is for all the gems who have signed on the dotted line. Do you understand all the salary compensation components in the salary structure given in your offer letter? Yes or no? This is a big one. And I'm not answering this one. I was answering all the other ones also. Waiting for the answers now.
And that's okay. You can be honest. I mean,
Yes. I'm not sure, Kalpana, about 95% have said no.
Acha, I am not able to see the result here. Okay.
It's in the chat box. Okay, we really, really need to hear from you,
Sure.
Kalpana. What
Sure,
would you
sure.
advise your younger self on financial literacy, Kalpana?
Sure, sure. So, thanks, Swaroop. So, I mean, I'll come back to this question, but along with the communication that we had sent to all our gems on this particular session, we had also invited them to, send their questions that they would want to ask us. And there was this, I was going through the list, there was this interesting question. Let me see if I can quickly read it here. Okay, so there is this question from one of the female candidates saying that how should a woman manage her finances well right from the starting of her professional career? What is the mistake you made in your 20s that you would suggest other girls not to make? And I really found this question very interesting, and that's the reason, I had suggested panel, let's, include this particular segment. This is important. And actually the research says that the financial literacy percentage is in female is much lower to male counterparts, and that is the reality. All of us are pretty much aware about it. However, today we have mixed audience so that, and this question is relevant for everyone, so I'm not going to limit it only for the women group out there, since it is important aspect of overall progression of every professional. So let me start with the mistake that I made early in my career, or rather the area that I did not pay as much as attention that I should have paid. And that is related to the financial planning or having financial goals. So having financial goals is as important as having your career goals. It is one of the important aspect of the well-being. And in Persistent we do have a lot of well-being initiatives, and as you are about to join us, you'll get to attend all of these sessions and work upon those. But let me share my own experience here. Okay. So I'll tell you my story. I remember when I started my first job, and I have done engineering and I've done MBA into marketing. I started my first job as into marketing, and my job was to pitch our products and platform to the corporate client. So there was this one senior person, our corporate client, and he later on became my mentor. So I remember he mentioning it to me that when he started his career at the age of 22, 30% of his salary, he made it a point that he actually saved that amount. He parked that amount and invested into diverse financial options. And at the age of 33, actually shown me the picture, Swaroop. And it was pretty luxurious house. He aimed for that. And at the age of 33, he could buy that house without any loan, without any debt, without taking any support from the parent. And he insisted me that, and he used to guide me on a lot of these things during the early conversations, that Kalpana, you should start doing that. And I absolutely, and coming from the engineering background, I always feel, I don't know why our education system do not have the financial education as part of the curriculum. Right in the school it should be there because it's a life skill, right? Somehow we don't have. And having engineering background, somehow, I always have had this resistance or reservation towards, learning the financial topics, honestly speaking. And I did eventually took up some courses, and now I do that. But at the start of my career, I started saving that. Okay. And over 15 years, I never faced any situation where actually I got into financial crunch on my own. Okay. I'm not talking about my family support. And that's how the compounding effect works. Okay, so I'm not the expertise here to tell you how to invest, what to invest, but for sure, my strong recommendation to each one of you would be to ensure that you do it right from the start. Amount does not matter. Okay, discipline and the consistency will give you the compounding effect over years to come. So पैसे से पैसा बनना चाहिए. I mean, if you have heard Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, that's what he says, right? So while you would be working hard, save and invest right from the your first paycheck, so let the money work harder for you. So that's the mantra here. So with that background, we would be planning a financial guidance session for all of you as part of your induction kit, and we'll be having the consultant who will be guiding you, and he'll help you out in terms of how you can set your financial goal. But this is very important aspect, so please keep do that in mind as you are about to begin your career.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. I completely agree with you. Money makes money, but we have to save that money first to have it start making more money. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um, Moving on to the next part of the next segment, which is fitness. For those of you who are not familiar, one is Mandira Bedi, the other is Vinita Singh, and the last is Mrs. Soman, which is Milan Soman's mom. And the question is, how does your health or fitness play a role in your life or well-being or work harmony? I think I'm going to start off by answering this question because it is very, very close to my heart. So, little bit of history for all of you. One, these are all women that I look up to. But growing up, I was severely asthmatic, so much so that till I was about 15, I could not do anything, no sports whatsoever, like nothing, zip. I used to stand on the side of the playground, whatever, the PE court, and stand and watch everybody playing and having a good time. It reduced by the time I entered college. And that is when my relationship with fitness began. And over the last 3 decades, I have, as a form of exercise, but done, the following for a sustained period of time. Let's see. Swimming, aerobics, kickboxing, Iyengar yoga, taekwondo. I'm a blue belt. Power yoga. I can do about 108 Surya Namaskar quite easily. Pranayam, weight training, Pilates, Tabata, pretty much anything, any new thing that comes up, I have been there, done that, tried it out. But I've been most consistent with pranayam and weight training. So to answer the question that was posed, um, physical fitness plays a huge role in mental well-being. It helps us be positive. It helps us have an objective perspective on life. And most of all, it helps us remain healthy so that we can tackle life's twists and turns. Now, having said that, fitness is a lifestyle and it is a continuous process. So what we see is that, it's very easy to drop off from that, fitness routine when life starts becoming a little more packed. But making time for fitness actually allows us to create a bandwidth for challenges in the other spheres of life. So I would urge the audience to remember that it is not all or nothing. And it is not that if you stop, you cannot begin again. It is continuous efforts towards that end goal, which is overall fitness. So there will be times when, fitness takes a back seat. But you have to keep in mind that you have to pick it up, again, where you left off as soon as life permits. Now, for men, it is comparatively easier, as in there are no circumstances that will always stop you from working out. For women, there is always, childbirth or other reasons why you might need to take a break. But keep in mind that the break has to be temporary. And if you keep telling that to yourself, that you have to go back to it once you can, I think it will help you. If you look at the corporate sphere, we are, and it's not just persistent, although I feel that persistent goes above and beyond. We have a lot of things that make it easy for us to adopt a more healthy lifestyle. So it is yoga, fitness classes, consultations with counselors, opportunities to go for trekkings. But instead of me telling this, I would rather call upon Unnati, who is very, very avid with, beyond work initiatives with Persistent. So Unnati, over to you.
Yeah, Swaroop, thank you. So yeah, I would. This is something good with this company, and I'm still working with this company. I'm stick to this company. Is like there are so many things that you can do beyond your work, and anyhow, it's gonna refresh your mind. It's gonna make you think in a very positive way. Uh, so I'll tell you once in. When there was one situation like we have started one program in which you have to for some people you have to gain weight, and for some people you have to reduce your weight, or weight loss program you have to follow. And that was kind of a 3 months program that we did. And in those 3 months, we had multiple events in which we were checking that, yes, are you actually doing it? Are you compatible to that? We have endurance challenges for that, kind of a very funny program and very funny event that we did. So whoever participated in that program also participated in that endurance event, and definitely showed that yeah, we did that challenge and we reduced this much weight, or we gained this much weight because we wanted to. And that's really good because it keeps you healthy. It keeps you think about that. Now your mind is refreshed, you can start working from a very fresh mind, very start, and your thought process will be very clear on that front. Also, working in this company, I had come to a group of people, come to know a group of people who were going for a trek. So I started my trekking journey from here only. And till now, I had done 4 treks till 14,000 feet. And yeah, that is really good because I keep in mind now this year I have to do this trek or that trek. And this makes me think that no, you have to keep your body healthy. You have to be fit to do it because you know that this is actually required. So there are many other things regarding that, many cycling groups that we have, yoga groups that we have, yoga events we have, and it's really good to keep your mind fresh on this. So, that's one more thing that I love about this.
Thank you so much, Unnati. Um, with that, I want to take a pause and see if we have any questions that have been unanswered. Audience, if there are questions that we have not answered, please go ahead and ask. I think we have just a couple of minutes. So I'll give about half a minute to see if any of you are typing.
So, meanwhile, Swaroop, there was this comment regarding Know Your Salary session. I think in one of the earlier, meeting that I had with GEMS, I had promised them that I'll be conducting. I mean, not me, but we'll have finance team conducting this session. So we'll be planning that pretty soon as part of your orientation deck. That was the comment, and I wanted to just kind of respond to it.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And since now we have seen the poll results where 80% of them have not understood, so it makes all the sense to arrange it.
Absolutely. So I don't see any questions so far. I think we've been super effective in answering all the questions, Kalpana. So
Let's assume that, yeah.
yes, yes. So as all things do, this discussion must also come to an end. I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel extremely motivated and inspired in the company of Jayati, Meghana, Unnati, Kalpana. If I were to take away a learning goal from this discussion, I think it would be Meghana's adaptability, Unnati's perseverance, as well as the beyond work initiatives that she manages to find time for. Jayati's winning attitude, and Kalpana, oh wow. Okay, the determination is really, really next level, Kalpana. Hats off to you. I think we need a huge round of applause for all these lovely women leaders of Persistent. And I hope that soon all of you too embark on your own journey with Persistent to achieve your goals with the knowledge that Persistent will support you 100%. I will now hand over the proverbial mic to Kalpana.
Yeah, so thank you everyone. So thank you Meghna, Jayati, Unnati, Swaroop, and Chitra. I think, I'm not sure if Chitra was able to join or not. Chitra heads our diversity and inclusion and the entire sustainability goals for Persistent. And so thank you all the participants to join in. I think the good point is that we started on time, we are closing it on time, and we'll have, many such sessions planned for you over next couple of weeks. So thank you everyone and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, and all the best, and look forward to have the young guns join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Wish you the very
everyone.
best.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.